Hi guys, I'm Christy and this is Created by Christy. Today we are going to learn a new technique to do the epoxy glitter mugs. It's completely different than anything I've ever done, but the result is amazing, so I'm so excited to show it to you. This is what the finished product looks like. So it's kind of cool, swirly, glittery magic. So I'm going to get set up and get started. Okay, to start with, I've got my cups set up here on my turner. I went ahead and spray painted them a nice blue just because it looks better when they're all said and done if you've got that nice base coat on them. These were rose gold and white before I started, so I want to start with the color that's going to go with my color palette just in case the glitter slips off or something. And you have a bare spot, it doesn't look like it was intended to be there. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and mix my epoxy and then go ahead and apply that to the cup. So the epoxy I'm using is equal parts resin, equal parts hardener. So I use these nice little silicone cups here and I mix it. I like to mix a little more because I use my epoxy for other things. When I'm done putting it on the cups, I make some jewelry with it. So I usually mix a little more than most people do. But you'll get to know as you do the cups how much you actually need, because I have 7 cup turners here. So if I'm doing 7, I obviously mix a whole lot more. But we're just gonna do these 2 today so you can see the different swirl patterns that you can get by doing the exact same thing to 2 cups. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed and then I will apply it to the cup. You want to mix it for like 3 to 5 minutes until it has a nice consistency. You don't want too many. If you mix it too quickly, you get like too many air bubbles, but basically you want it to be able to flow down like that, and it'll start to look clear in color as it's ready to go. So now I think I'm about ready with mine. I'm gonna use my heat gun to pop the bubbles a little bit in here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and apply to the cup. Obviously this works a lot better in a silicone cup than it does in a plastic cup, because if you're doing it in a plastic cup it will just melt, so nobody wants that. Plus it gets really hot on your hand, so that's no fun. But yeah, we're ready to go. I like the way that looks, and now I am going to get these turning, and hopefully the squeaking isn't too bad. As you do more and more cups, these things just tend to squeak because epoxy gets in the turner apparatus and it just squeaks over time. So hopefully it won't be too bad and you can actually hear me instead of listening to this god-awful noise, which is another reason I do this in my garage, so I don't have to hear it all day. So now I'm just gonna take my glove and spread the epoxy that I have on there. Just kind of smooth it out. Try not to take too much of the epoxy off as you're doing it, because you want a pretty decent amount of epoxy on the cup to allow the glitter to stick. And you're gonna go ahead and do the bottom as well. And I'm gonna come over here to this cup and do the same thing. Trying to be better because I just got back from a birthday party, so I have clothes on that I probably shouldn't be wearing while I am doing this, but I decided to try it anyway. So hopefully I don't ruin my pretty sweater. So, alright, now that I've got that going, I'm going to go ahead and kill this glove and put on a fresh one. Now the next thing I'm going to need is some paper to put underneath to catch my glitter. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that down. I'm gonna do one at a time. And I have 4 different colors I'm using. The first is like a blue iridescent kind of color. The second one is a teal iridescent color. The third one is a mermaid iridescent color. And the fourth is a holographic silver. So I find that when I use the chunky glitters, I don't like it as much. Some people do it, they love it, to each his own, but I'm not a fan. So therefore, I don't really use it as much. So I'm just gonna take my first glitter, and I like to pour it into the cap. You can use a cup, you can use whatever you want, but the paper underneath is to catch it. And then I'm just going to put it in a line there. Like, oh, let's do some here, maybe here. And again, there's no rhyme or reason, because once you put, once we start applying the heat, it's going to look different anyway. And then I like to just throw a little bit on the bottom, and then I can put that right back into my container. I'm going to switch over here to the second one. Get myself a couple blue stripes on it. And again, I like to just do it in kind of a diagonal pattern. There's no right or wrong. It's just how I like it. And then again, I'm going to throw some on the bottom. And then I'm going to collect my paper and put that back into the bottom. Go ahead and slide it under the next one, and I'm going to go to my next color, which I think I'm going to do this nice holographic silver. Over, add some to this cup, and you can add as little or as much as you want. Again, it's just how you feel, what you like. Because the fun part about this is we don't know what it's going to look like, because we're going to apply heat to it to actually swirl the glitters. So how you put it on is not how it's going to end up. So now I'm going to set my silver to the side and get some of this nice pretty teal in here. It's like a fun, I really like this color. To my next cup and do the same. Throw some of that on the bottom side too. Jar. And we're going to go on to our mermaid color. which it is a nice pretty mix of like blues and silvers and greens all together. So that's why I used it last, because it kind of gets everything. I started on the wrong cup. Let me just move that paper. And with this one now, I'm just kind of filling in, making sure that my whole cup is covered to be ready to go on to the final step. And if you think you have too much in this area, that area, you can always like throw a little glitter to change it up. And we are good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put that back into the canister. Y'all, I use a lot of glitter, so that's why I have these big old canisters instead of having like 5 billion little jars all over my desk. So that just makes it easier for me. So again, everybody do what you like, and then, you know, go from there. So the next thing I'm gonna do, now that I've got that all swirled up nicely, got my heat gun. Ooh, can you see my heat gun? Ooh, like heat gun. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, and I'm just gonna start to warm up that epoxy again. And when I do that, that's what's gonna make it start moving. Go ahead and go all the way, and then come over here and do the same thing. Now, one thing I just saw in this little cup is that there is a little naked spot, and I don't know if it's like missing some epoxy and that's why it's naked. I'm just gonna put a little epoxy on there. Let it go around. Try not to use my whole canister of glitter because I don't have my catch paper there, but all right, cool. So I got that little spot. And now I'm gonna heat up the gun again. There we go. I'm gonna get it hot, but not too hot. Sometimes it takes a little longer than you would like to see it start moving. But once it starts going, it's really gonna start looking cool. Oh, there you can see it's starting to go there a little bit. See it starting to move. You can see it there moving some really nice. So now it's finally starting to swirl. So I'm going to try and move the camera a little closer so you can get a better idea of what's happening. So I hate trying to set up the camera stand, so I'm just gonna hold it so you can kind of watch it start to swirl and get the patterns. You see how it's starting to mix? Gives it some really cool looking patterns. So I'm not sure if I can do this. Well, let's throw caution to the wind and see what happens. I'm gonna get some more heat. Sorry about the shadows. But I really want you guys to be able to see what's happening. My camera stand is being dumb. So I'm gonna have to do it this way. It's really starting to give us some fun stuff. Can really start to see some of those patterns swirl together and look super cool. So that's it. They'll continue to morph and change as they spin, but like I said, each one will be different, because you can see this one's kind of more like the lines are going this way, and then over here we've got some really cool stripy things happening. So you never know what you're gonna get, but it makes for a really unique, fun cup that you don't see everywhere. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed what you saw, continue to watch, like, and subscribe. Tell me what you'd like to see next time. Leave it in the comments. See you soon. Bye-bye.